what advice would you give to the individuals inside the organisations, like, hard-working sustainability managers and the lonely advocates within these organisations who are trying to shift the culture or the budget lines of procurement to make changes happen?
I think initially, looking back, I've been with AMP Capital Real Estate for about 5 years now. We were very focused initially on doing the work, the NABERS ratings, the asset ESG plans I mentioned, the fund strategies and communicating that, improving the GRESB ratings, which is all important and which we still have to do. But it was really when I made the business case to get additional resources that could do some of that work that freed me up to do more strategic work and come up with this 2030 sustainability strategy. That was what ignited the change that was where we really achieved a step change in thinking. Yeah. So my advice would be try to make time as early as you can to do that strategic thinking, to set out that visionary end goal and to do the stakeholder engagement to sell that up the tree to your leadership so that you've got this set of targets that you can rally support around, because otherwise you're just in this day-to-day grind of just incremental change, but you really want to create a step change. So do the strategy work earlier is my one piece of advice.
Yeah, it's interesting. So you get people into the kind of big, broad, long-term story, and that's where they get on board.
And it makes the little stuff easier.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah. Having, of course, been in, there's obviously in the sustainability space is often pushback against you, big problems and that. Is there anything looking back that you would do differently?
Probably that last point, which is try and make time. It was tough. We were working really hard, but try to make time earlier to do that strategic piece, engage with your senior stakeholders, get them on board with the vision, get them talking about it so that they can be proud of it and it's something that they care about, and that unlocks opportunities within the organisation and changes the culture, I think, as well, when your senior leadership are actively engaged with your sustainability strategy, understand through you helping them through educating them about why it's important to our investors, why it's important to our customers, why it's important to our staff for retention and motivation, why it's important to have our supply chain partners on board. If you can package that up in that vision and get your senior leaders across it, everything else gets a lot easier.
So it's itself out.
Yeah.
In terms of, you mentioned trying to go zero net and the carbon front there, is there a lot more interest in that? Is a lot more push down that avenue?
Certainly. We had our first investor in 2019 come to us and say, we expect you to be zero carbon and have a zero net carbon target, and we want that target in place by the end of the year or pulling our money. Luckily, we just got that all signed off and I was able to say, well, great, here it is. Here's our commitment. We're going to do it by latest 2030. And so that was satisfactory to the investor. But that was interesting. It was sort of in 2019 that we started to have those bold calls from investors and really the investor expectation around both commitments to zero net carbon as well as a strong strategy on climate resilience in the physical real estate
space. It's interesting to see where the pressure comes from, isn't it? That if you get investors doing that, that makes a big difference.
Makes the world of difference because they're our clients. At the end of the day. It's their money that we invest on their behalf, and if they ask us for it, that helps a lot internally.
It does feel like there's kind of, sometimes frustrating, I feel like there's kind of more leadership in the corporate world than there is the political world in this particular area.
Yeah. I think there is a lot of consensus among investors, among tenant organisations, the businesses who rent space in our tenancies. There's a lot of support for strong sustainability initiatives, and I think that helps us as sustainability professionals because those fundamentals are there. If we do sustainability well, it will attract and retain tenants, and that's good for business. And it will bring more investment money in the door, which is good for business. So
it's interesting. Where are you kind of getting more push now? Is it coming from the investment side or from the tenants? Or is it both sides really now? There's an element of that is looking for sustainability.
Yeah, absolutely. I think on both sides the interest is strong, but perhaps with a different focus. So from the investment side, it's primarily zero net carbon as well as climate resilience and modern slavery for reputational risk. And then on the tenant side, it's perhaps more those tangible things like energy costs, waste is a huge topic of engagement with customers. So I think it's strong on both sides, but it's got a little twist, a different angle to it.
Yeah. Well, good luck with that. I noticed you mentioned getting rid of single-use plastics. Good luck with that.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's remarkably, so many people want to do it.
We're going to get
there. It's a really difficult challenge. It's really interesting how I've seen a lot of people kind of try and fail on that front. So it'd be interesting to see your experience.
We had a tenant survey to which 80% of people, I think it was actually 85% of people said, we support your aspiration to ban single-use plastics in our asset. So the customer support is there.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, there's
Yeah.
a lot of push for it. It's,
Yeah.
getting that next level.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
I'll be watching with interest.
Cheers, Craig.
Thank you.